The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Jets insider Robby Sabo is going to join us. What can Aaron Glenn do to try and get this team back on track? We'll talk about that and the latest on the Jets, who have officially touchdown in London. Let's hope it's not their only touchdown they actually score this whole week. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
the 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Hit the like button and make sure, if you haven't already, you subscribe to the channel. Reminder, if you join my Patreon by the end of today, we will add your name to the intro. You'll get bonus shows, discounts year-round, 20% off for the merch store, and the best perk of all, access to our Discord. If you join for the year, you get 10 raffle tickets included in our next weekly raffle, which will be at the end of the show today. So make sure you tune in for a chance to win a Joe Namath signed helmet, Wayne Chrebet signed football, and a Sauce Gardner signed jersey. I'll give people a chance to enter this show. So if you want to enter the weekly raffle, you have till the end of the show to do so, and then we'll spin the wheel and give away those 3 signed items. With that said, let's say hello to the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com, our guy, Robby Sabo. Robby, the Jets are 0-5. They are off to London. And as I joked in the soft open, let's hope now that they touch down in London, that is not the only touchdown they score this week against the Denver Broncos.
Did the social team use the word touchdown? They
did.
You know, yeah, I don't feel envy much in my life, but they got a tough job. Let's be real. And they've always done a great job. So, you know, I like those people and those guys and gals, but that's a tough job. As of right now, I don't think Jets fans can expect much until they see it on the field, point blank.
This was the post from the Jets, the social media team trying, but just touchdown in London town. And the responses, first one I see, if you lose, don't bother coming back. You belong to London now. We don't claim you. Next response, stay there. Third response, don't come back. Fourth response, do us a solid and don't practice. So that is a little look inside the Jet fan base right now.
Pretty soon, you know, like on cigarettes, the government mandated to put like a broken skull with a cross on it, all these warnings. This could do this to you, cancer, all that. Pretty soon, social media is going to have to come with the same warning. View the comments at your own mental health risk. Honestly, it's got to get to that point soon.
So some news involving the Jets before we talk about what Aaron Glenn could actually do to try and fix things, get this team back on track. The Jets announced this themselves yesterday before they traveled. Michael Carter with the concussion and Allen Lazard for personal reasons did not travel with the team. This does not impact either's game status. So there's still a chance that Carter could get cleared and then fly out to London and play. And hopefully everything's okay with Allen Lazard. But obviously he did not travel. So we'll see what that potentially means. With that said, Robby, do you find it interesting that the Jets are going out there for the full week? We've seen under Robert Saleh the last 2 times the Jets played in London. I believe they traveled on Thursday night or even Friday morning, then played the game Sunday and came right back. So it's a different approach from Aaron Glenn in regards to the travel for the Jets getting set for this game on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. And I think it depends on the situation. And their situation right now is bleak. It's downtrodden. So get away. get away, be there the whole week. That's what I would do as well, honestly. So I think that's the right call. But listen, it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than good practices. It goes deeper than, trying to play the discipline game and accountability game. Listen, all that stuff is all well and good, but until someone shakes Glenn or he looks in the mirror and they understand they're prioritizing the wrong things in today's modern league, it doesn't matter how well they practice. They have to stop prioritizing the preaching and prioritize putting these guys in better positions, the strategy and deception. Look, if your players are in better positions on the field, guess what happens naturally? The penalties decrease because they're in better spots. It's just a different world. Look at Liam Cohen last night. That's where it starts. I don't care about anything else. That's where it starts. And you got to see something from them on the field in terms of strategy and deception starting this weekend.
You bring up Liam Cohen. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars were worse than the Jets last year, Robbie. They're 4-1. They're beating the Kansas City Chiefs in primetime. You look at the Chicago Bears of Ben Johnson. They're seemingly in position to be decent this year, certainly in a much better spot than they've been. They've won a couple games already. I don't need to tell Jet fans what happened on Sunday Night Football when Mike Vrabel and the Patriots went into Buffalo and won. You're looking at all these coaches in their first years with their respective teams win games and improve. And then here are the Jets. We're sitting there at 0-5, and their head coach went from we're here to win now and going forward to, big ships take a while to turn, and everyone wants the instant coffee and all the other Salah-isms that give Jet fans PTSD. I got to tell you, it is really depressing right now to root for this team. It really is.
100%. And a couple things. I said this, I was talking to someone the other day in response to one of my tweets where I said, Aaron Rodgers was good enough for Mike Tomlin, Super Bowl winner. Devontae Adams, good enough for the Rams. Sean McVay, Super Bowl winner. They weren't good enough for the Jets. And I know the responses are going to come. If you think Rodgers is going to make a difference, you're crazy. Don't be delusional. That's never going to work. My response is, what does that mean? What does work, quote unquote, mean? A Super Bowl? My point is the fans, and it's not their fault because of all the losing, but the fans, we romanticize the plan to such a degree that it becomes counterproductive. What plan? Stop romanticizing the plan. A rebuild. Forget it. It's about rostering the best possible team to win games now. And that's not to say you throw everything at the wall and destroy your cap. Of course, there's got to be nuance. But we got to get out of this mindset of plan, rebuilds, plan, patience. No, just roster the best talent, period. Roster the best possible team. And do the right thing by letting the offensive scheme and offensive strategy lead the charge, and everything attaches to that. Defense, special teams, accountability, whatever. That has to lead the charge. And, what I'm seeing everywhere with this team is just not modern stuff. Steve Wilkes refuses to run cover 6 against 3-by-1. I just don't get it. It's Tampa 2 every time. He refuses to match in clear, man-beating looks. Like a stack 3-by-1 or bunch. You got to match more. They're just not doing things that put their players in the best position to succeed in today's league.
This game Sunday, Robbie, I know you had a chance now to go through the film.
Yeah, not all the way, but I'm getting there.
Enough of it to get a feel, and you've watched the film on the first 4 games of this disastrous season. People are comparing that performance Sunday to the Rich Kotite Jets. You lived through it. Do you see it? Is it that bad?
Well, I was a youngster, as hard as that is to believe for some people, but until proven otherwise, yes, 100%. I remember as a kid, I think I was 6th or 7th grade, watching them win their first game. Adrian Morrell went nuts in Arizona. I think they lost the first 8 or 9, if I can't remember correctly, but they won right in the middle of the season, a little past midway point. It's that way right now. There's no getting around it. I mean, if anyone points me to the stats for the quarterback, I lose my mind again. Stats are they're a great tool, but they're powerful too. They could be as misleading as they are impactful in terms of evaluation. they don't see Glenn. If you put Glenn and his message, what we're hearing from him, put him into the NFL in 2002, I think you got something. Right now, it's still up for debate. And that's the thing that really concerns me.
You want some stats? The Jets have not scored a first half touchdown since week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 1. You want some stats? The New York Jets have averaged 6.25 points and 170.5 total yards in the first 3 quarters in their last 4 games. Fields and Tyrod have averaged 90 passing yards in the first 3 quarters and have thrown 0 touchdown passes. So we could talk about whatever the numbers might indicate or how the Jets have technically lost a couple of these games by 1 score. Their offense has only produced in garbage time, and their defense constantly puts them in a hole. And then they're not built, as we know, with this quarterback and the lack of weapons besides Garrett on the outside to come back. So we could take whatever numbers you want to try and make it seem like it's not as bad as it is. It is. It's actually as bad as maybe it has ever been when we start hearing people like yourself and like others I respect say it looks like the Rich Kotite era Jets. This has to change. Once again, the best thing Aaron Glenn has going for him is that there are still 12 games left in the season for him to show improvement, for him to show that this team is actually buying in and headed in the right direction. But you could give me whatever stat you want. Here's the only stat that matters. They're the only team in the NFL without a damn win.
You know what's going to make them buy in the most is if you come up with something unique and it works. And then they're going to look around the room and go, whoa, that was pretty genius. Like, holy, you put us in that spot where, we're rewarded. That's the best motivation you can give a player today in this league. It's not a secret. Physicality. It's for all the diehard NFL fans, such as myself, and I'm a defensive first guy. I coach defense mainly in high school. It kills me to say it, but it's a completely different sport. The physicality is gone from the NFL and from football, and it trickles down to every other league, every other age group. So what does that do? That decreases the randomness on each play. When physicality is there, and there could be pileups and combos and so much more, the randomness was upped, giving the players a little more control on the field. So decrease that randomness, speed becomes more predictable and the most important element, and that's why offensive scheme is dominating in today's league. It's that simple. And until guys get with that program and just live in reality, first have to live in reality before you make plans accordingly. And I'm not saying Glenn doesn't live in reality. Let's get that off the bat. I'm saying what his team is giving us doesn't prove it. And I think Glenn, a guy who likes confrontation, if he is indeed not living in that reality, someone needs to confront him, because he's told us before he likes confrontation. If he is living in that reality and he does get it, then make it happen. Trust Engstrand more and let him lead the charge offensively. And then let Wilkes, Banjo, and yourself, the game management part of it, trickle in underneath that. That's what I would tell him going into this week.
I think the thing that we have to learn about Aaron Glenn is he all talk, or is he a guy that's actually going to be able to rally his team and get his team to buy in and start playing better? Because I feel bad for Glenn, man. This guy wanted the job. Yeah. He's a Jet all the way. I don't want to see him fail. I don't want to see him be embarrassed. Like, I'm on the phone with my dad last night, and he said something that, like, I agree with. Like they're making him look like a fool. They're making Aaron Glenn look bad. They're soiling Aaron Glenn's prestigious reputation with the Jet fan, with a team that has been bad for so long that we've been dying for someone that actually wanted the job to come in and say the things he was saying all summer that were going to be corrected. Like, they're making him look awful. Honestly, these players. And Robbie, I saw quit. I don't care what anyone tells me. You missed 13 tackles and a half of football when you're 0-4 going into that game and you're at home, and that's the effort you give. I mean, Brees, the fumble can't happen. I get it. But the excuse for the defense to then allow Dak to go right down the field. Then the offense comes out, the quickest 3-and-out you'll ever see. And then 2 plays on that drive led by the 66-yard run where you will never see.
The how, in terms of how he's trying to go about it, is completely wrong for today's league. And, when you hear him talk about, we heard it in the summer, he talked about physicality a lot. Physicality will always be in football. Yes, true. But hearing you say it in the interview kind of leads me astray in terms of like, yes, it always means something, but how important is it in the grand scheme of things? Accountability, same thing. When I start hearing him in the interview talk about, Sherwood, hey, when you're in a hybrid spy against Josh Allen, a guy like Josh Allen, MVP, you can't make that move. You can't guess to the right and elude. You have to stay at the sticks and be that spy. When I start hearing him talking about opponent-specific items in the interview is when I'm going to go, oh, okay, there's something here. And I just haven't heard that yet. It's always been about the Jets and him. Start thinking opponent-specific, please.
Only team in the league that doesn't have a win. And by the way, like, there are just so many things that bother me about this play. I'll keep showing it briefly here. At this point, what was the score? It was 23 minus 7. So do the math. Like, they were content with just going into halftime, being up, and instead the Jets are like, nah, man, we're going to allow you to score another touchdown so you can get 14 total points in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Joke.
Yeah, and why does it work? Let's break it down. Why does that play work? I mean, obviously, what we talked about, the main element is the Jets just being horrific and not playing free and loose. That's a big part of it, no question. But at the heart of the matter, it's deception. It's a passing situation. It's around midfield, and the Jets defense is thinking pass. Look at the look. There's only one backer there. The other backer next to Sherwood is a safety. So deception. And
people in show today to join. So this is your last opportunity to get in. And Black Gypsy, you are the first to do so. So you are in for one plus all your other entries throughout the past week on the show. All right. Let's talk more now, Robbie, about kind of the last thing that you were breaking down there, right? Emphasis on the strategy.
Yeah.
Do you see any of that from any of these coaches? Like, should there be anything we could point to that we could feel confident about a certain area of the football squad in regards to some of that stuff you're talking about?
I feel good about Engstrand and Hayden. I feel good about the offensive coaching by and large. And what you just talked about with talent, being wrong about Clemens. Listen, no matter what I say today, it doesn't take away the fact that this roster has deficiencies. There's no question about it. They have deficiencies, but the process in terms of how they've arrived at 0-5, it's not just about talent, not even close. And everyone knows that. So let's not play games.
They're not the least talented team in the league. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be the only team without a win. Correct.
So let's just not black and white say, oh, they have no talent. No, man, you can't operate that way. So listen, the passing game, it's limited for a lot of reasons. The quarterback, we know, the lack of weapons on the outside, the offensive pass pro wasn't great this past game, but again, generally speaking, I have day and night compared to last year and this year with the O-line. Last year, there were free runners coming everywhere. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't do it. They couldn't run the ball against light boxes. I really am encouraged with Engstrand and Hayden and the O-line. Defensively, it's a mess. And, the first 2 weeks were very vanilla in terms of coverage, in terms of looks, in terms of pre-snap stuff. They started mixing it up in Tampa. A lot of zone in Tampa, a lot of disguise stuff, a lot of invert, which I liked. And it worked to a solid degree. I'm not saying the defense played well, but they only gave up 1 touchdown. So the effort in terms of trying to implement more in terms of what works defensively in today's league has been there. But I don't understand some of the stuff they're doing in terms of, you got to match. If it's a cluster, if it's a bunch, if it's a 3-by-1, you can't try to fight through on man all the time. Like, it's just silly. And this personnel group was able to do that flawlessly under the Saleh era with Marquez Manuel and Tony Oden. That was the best coached group under the Saleh era, the DBs. I don't understand playing Tampa 2 against 3-by-1. I just don't. You can do it every now and then, but they never go to new age looks like a cover 6 or six invert, or just stuff that makes more sense. And the last thing is the lack of on-field leadership. Time and again this year, it's whether it's Rodgers, Prescott, Mayfield, the offense gets up to the line, runs a quick motion, quarterback knows what coverage it is. He checks into something else, and the Jets guys are just standing around. Like they don't, there's no action after the offense checks. And Glenn, Wilkes, they need to challenge Sherwood, challenge the linebackers, challenge the safeties, and say, all right, who are going to be our on-field leaders? We need them. That we need our guys to be in the. We need our guys, someone, a leader to step up and get our defense in the right checks and in the right details on each play. And I'm just not seeing that right now.
You're a coach, so you're a good guy to ask this question to, because we've been debating it on the show. Last two games, the New York Jets have 23 penalties. Some say it's on the players. Some say it's on the coaches.
Yeah,
I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, like most things are. But from your perspective, are the penalties the Jets continue to commit, despite the emphasis from Glenn all summer on correcting it and the big brash bravado on we're going to do this, this, and this, and that's how we're going to make our fans proud. Everything he said, right? Who's responsible for why this team is still one of the most penalized teams in football?
I mean, obviously, it's not a cop-out answer. It's a combination of everything. But guess what? It goes at the top. So it's the head coach. It's Glenn. He is the most responsible. And again, it goes back to the how. How do you fix it? And I think the more you preach, the more you harp on it, the more you bring attention to it in a sort of brash, older school type way, the worse it's going to get. Because listen, if you go single high, press on the outside, and that's another thing. They let Sauce kind of freelance and do what he wants. He feels more comfortable in press sometimes. And if you're in single high, you're not too deep, you know, that you're flirting with danger playing press. Not only could you give something over the top because you don't have safety help, but you invite the quarterback to take that shot. So what does that do? It invites the quarterback to take vertical one-on-one shots against the Jets often because you're inviting them. What does that do? It increases the chances of defensive pass interference to be called. So the way you attack this thing and your messaging at the top in terms of priorities, your organizational vision, your football team vision trickles down. And if you're doing it the right way and you're prioritizing the right things for the rules of the game, you could decrease the odds of penalties happening. That's just one of many examples.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eli Betts is the first to gift 5 memberships during today's show. Eli, this is for you.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
Eli, thank you. You're in for 5, and the following 5 people are now channel members. Mighty Mouse Junk Removal, McNally 145, Big T Charlie, Abby Baby, Hunter Haziski, and Aaron Glenn. Please, for the love of God, win a football game on Sunday. I might have made up that last one. Eli, thank you. You're playing to win today. The following 3 items at the end of the show, folks, for those tuning in late. Signed Sauce jersey, signed Corbett football. You know, that Wayne Corbett, co-host of the Underdog podcast with Robby Sabo. And
you could use him right now.
Oh, my God. And a signed Joe Namath helmet. You realize, Robbie, the Jets are 3-16 since starting 2-1 last year? Like, it's hard to believe. I left MetLife that night. Rodgers looking healthy, moving around. They blow out the Patriots, who now a year later are going into Buffalo.
Benigno was there too, right?
And winning. Yeah, Joe was there. I was there. You were there. Fireman Ed was there. A lot of my listeners were there. We did a huge tailgate at L5. They were 2-1 last year, 3-16 since. And I bring this up because the team that started the Jets' complete collapse of last year is the team they now play on Sunday in London, the Denver Broncos. And if you look at the line right now, courtesy of our presenting sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook, the Jets are 7-point underdogs in this one. It was 7.5 yesterday, so it has moved down a half a point. I don't see how they win this game Sunday. They've given me no reason to think that they have any chance. I like, what is going to change based on anything we've seen through the first 5 weeks of the season? In fact, it's only been getting worse since their best all-around performance, which was week 1 of the season against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have any faith, and you got to give me something. You got to put something on film where you give me a lot of faith. In terms of the offense, where I touched on before, I'm relatively pleased with Engstrand and Hayden, although there's major issues, obviously. There is one thing, and they could tweak it more to get back to more Fields ball. I mean, Glenn, he's not necessarily. Listen, with the Rodgers thing, it's not a sin to go in a different direction and choose a guy like Fields and go with the more modern athletic quarterback system. Not a sin at all, no question about it. Despite the uber talent decrease at the position, but when you do that, you put the onus on your shoulders. You put the onus on the coaching staff shoulders, and you have to be buttoned up beyond belief, and you have to commit to it. And since week 1, since week 2, since the concussion, and Buffalo just destroyed them in terms of guessing right every play, they kind of let their foot off the gas in terms of playing Fields ball, quote unquote. They're putting them in too many traditional spots. Now, there are still RPOs, there are still zone reads that fly under the radar that just look like regular plays. So they're still doing it, but I think they have to go back to that a little more. And give me a new wrinkle. Where is the unique wrinkle offensively that is going to stun Denver? Do it on both sides. It's a week to week new slate league, and I just need to see more of that. Got to see more of that.
Well, here's the reality, right? They have given you no reason to think that they're going to be able to go out there and put together a complete game, and especially defensively, right? Like the offense, maybe they could score some points, but this is the Denver team that just beat the Eagles, oh, by the way, in their building. And it's Sean Payton versus Steve Wilkes. As far as coming up with a game plan, who do you have more faith in? Sean Payton is one of the best offensive minds in the history of the NFL, or Steve Wilkes, whose scheme looks outdated and has not had success for a while now, and we have no reason to think anything will be different. I mean, Jermaine Johnson should be back. That should help, but
yeah,
is that enough? Like that's going to help the Jets win this game? I don't know.
I mean, all right. So you look at it game planning wise. What do they have offensively? Bo Nix, he could move. Obviously, they like to run the ball. We know that the rookie running back, he's been okay so far. I don't know. No, I still got to watch Denver's offense. The receivers. How do the Jets and Wilkes think they match up coverage wise? Sauce, Stevens, Michael Carter's not going to play correct. So against Franklin, Sutton, what do you think that matchup is? I mean, if you think about it, I think they can cover. Sure. It's kind of like Buffalo. And in week 1 against Pitt, there was a combination of a lot of coverages. Week 2, they were man press, single high, every play. It was absurd. And I think the reason why they did that is because they looked at the Bills receivers and said, our guys could cover them. But they just made it too comfortable for the quarterback, for Josh Allen. You can't do that. It's not about playing zone. It's not about playing man. It's not about a combination of Wilkes and Glenn. It's about making the quarterback uncomfortable. So if you come out in this new wrinkle and you think you could get home and 2 nicks in a hurry with 6 or even 7 in 0 blitzes sometimes, do it and do it early. The other thing is they're starting to run blitz a little more on early downs. I've noticed that the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't been enough. So new wrinkles. Give me something unique.
You mean playing Michael Clemens here?
True pass pro rep, or it's a late release like that. How do you not react and stay on the edge, stay on the quarterback when he's releasing like that? It's just way too late. It's a sense. It's a thing where you can't get sidetracked by the junk in the middle. And that's what happened. He got sidetracked by the junk in the middle with the pulling guard, with Dak's ball handling. And guess what? Deception. That was a hell of a job, a hell of an acting job by Dallas on that play action. Let's be real. As bad as it was by Clemens, it was a great play fake. I think Boomer Esiason right now is licking his chops, wishing he could play in this league because his play actions would do some serious damage. Again, deception. It comes down to deception in terms of the league. And for the Jets, it's definitely a talent deficiency at edge because you got to feel that a lot quicker.
By the way, here's another issue I have, right? Everyone watch this. What do you notice here? What do you notice on this play here? Oh, let's watch it again real quick, right? Only watch where the Jets returner picks up the football. What do you notice?
Oh, in the end zone?
Why are we taking the ball out of the end zone. Avery Williams, who's the Jets' second new returner, takes the ball out of the end zone here. By doing so, it cost the Jets the end zone, take a knee, and get the ball at the 35-yard line. This is the type of stuff that makes me question the entire coaching staff. That makes me question Aaron Glenn. This has happened a couple times this year. This is incompetency. This is like the most basic aspect of coaching. You tell your second kickoff returner in as many weeks to say, hey, man, if you feel the ball in the end zone, go down. Like, this is why I'm losing my mind, because it's not just that they're losing. It's because they're losing because they're poorly coached. And everything I was sold was that it would be different finally. And it's exactly the same, if not worse.
By the way, did Pritchett get kidnapped? Where is Jamal Pritchett? That's one. Number two, Glenn, the job Glenn did this summer, great job. And I'll always say it was a great job this summer. But again, every time someone asked me about Glenn, even on the show, I kept saying it will come down to the week-to-week stuff. It'll come down to that. In terms of what you're talking about on that play, it's not simple. I don't want to say it's simple, but what I would do, it's not about preaching and yelling and screaming. Number one, what I would do is have a shift in my mind and say, okay, I have to start rewarding smarts, because smarts goes hand in hand with strategy, and strategy is what wins in the league. And I have to start rewarding smarts and intelligence in terms of what I see on the field just as much, if not more, than effort. So forget the screaming. Just start rewarding the smart players and the guys who are doing the right thing. That doesn't mean you don't reward effort. Of course you do. But smarts is more important right now for them.
And the fact that this has happened multiple times, like, we can't just blame the player. Like, this is a coaching thing. If it happens multiple times, your guy, Michael Nania, over at JetX, he quote tweeted this play as well and made a really good point. He's like, it's like a 9-yard sack, but imagine you have a free option to not take a 9-yard sack and you still decline it. Like, it's just, is that why they lost on Sunday? No, but I think it just highlights the bigger problem and the concerns we have
it's
as
valid.
Jet fans,
100% valid. Listen, if the coaches were to go into each game film and just rail on the main reasons why they lost, nothing will ever change. You have to rail on everything. You have to rail on the details. That's the important thing. Because if you gloss over the details, you're just going to have something new surface next week in terms of why you lost. So, Jake, you're perfectly on spot in terms of bringing that play up. No question.
We got 500 people watching live right now. Obviously, I've been in a negative mood all week, so I'm going to try and do something positive here. I'm going to gift 5 memberships to the community right now. We're doing our weekly raffle at the end of the show. And since the Jets have yet to win a game, we're allowing people to enter in show. So 5 people are about to get entered for a chance to win a Broadway Joe Namath jersey, or a signed helmet, excuse me, and our other 2 items. And guess what? You're going to become a channel member. So you're going to be able to get all the benefits you get when you become an official Asmaniac here on YouTube. We got 3 items up for grabs. Yours truly just gifted 5 channel memberships for the community. We might not have any wins, Robby Sabo, but we do have some moral victories. Yeah, baby. Here are the following people who got a membership from me. Sir Slaughter, Sarah, the lovely Sarah, down in Australia, Joe Rod, M. Roman, and DF. They all received memberships. And one of our OGs, the great Rick Kent. Rick and I were in London last year at this time watching Robert Saleh's final game as the Jet coach. This year it might be Steve Wilkes if they get destroyed in London, by the way. Rick Kent just gifted 5 channel memberships. Rick, let's go.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
Rick gifting 5 memberships to Bobby Beasley. Hey now, Dante, Gonzo Badger, Matt Murrow, and Unique Islam. Rick, thank you for your support, as always. What do you think of that, by the way? Because last year, Saleh got canned after the London debacle. This year, if Denver puts 40 on him, is Steve Wilkes the sacrificial lamb on the flight back like Saleh was?
Is it the same week, by the way?
It's a week later. It's a week later.
Okay. I mean, listen, anything could happen at this point, honestly. And when we talk about coaching changes, I always go back to McDermott and what the great coaches in today's league do. He didn't see who was it, Dorsey before Brady? Who was the OC in Buffalo before Brady? I think
It was Ken Dorsey. Yeah.
Dorsey. Wasn't working in Buffalo for a while, like first half of the season or so. And he didn't hesitate. He saw right away what needed to be done. And he canned him and elevated Brady, and the rest is history. And they've been rolling ever since. So I referenced that one. You can't wait sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised. And what would be just a nail in the coffin is if nothing changes defensively and he lasts the entire year, honestly, because you can't wait. If something is obviously wrong, you got to make a move.
And Glenn's a defensive guy. Like that's what's so discouraging about all this. Like, look, I understand the offense having limitations. That's why I didn't pick them to win more than 6 or 7 games, right? But if their defense was mediocre, not good, mediocre, average, they have a couple wins right now. Like the offense for its issues and the garbage time stats I can give you, they've had chances to win games here, and we'd feel a lot better if this team was 2-3 right now as opposed to 0-5.
And they're running the ball. Like, I mean, think about their deficiencies last year are their strengths this year. It's wild. So they're running the ball really well, and the old line's doing work, and it's. I had something to say. I forgot what it was though.
You know what else they're doing? That's insane.
What?
They're getting great field goal kicking from Nick Folk.
Yes,
we're just wasting that. We're just wasting a Nick Folk year. It's like we had Nick Folk last year. They don't get off to that 2-3 start. And who knows what would have happened? Do I think they were going to win the Super Bowl last year with that team? No, but it's just like they can never get everything like synced up the right way.
It goes back to romanticizing the plan. Honestly, like what are we talking about in terms of tanking, in terms of, a difference of $18 million in cap room? Like you field the best roster. If you have, a Hall of Fame quarterback right now, guess how much better that makes everyone else on the offense in terms of experience, in terms of there's so much that goes into it other than just the more comfortable plan is to go with youngsters and rebuild. Like, what does that mean? I don't understand. We just the fan base is just so out of it and so much in disarray. It's crazy.
Let's get to some super chats here. Then we will take your calls. There's a guy on the line that claims to have a plan to fix the Jets, Robbie. So we will run that plan by you. Get ready.
Jets, is this a Gator special?
I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil what's coming. All right, everyone be aware, though. It's coming.
Okay.
Jets Worldwide says we've gone from RELAX to panic. How could you not? Right? Sad.
And Buffalo, week 2. The panic should have hit week 2 based on what I saw on tape.
I said that on radio this morning. I went on with DiPietro and Rothenberg, and they're like, wow, like you sound like really down on like Glenn. I'm like his second game ever. They no-showed against a division opponent at home. But then everyone tried to tell me, well, it's the Bills, and the Bills are the best team in the league. And it's like, okay, Mike Vrabel's in his first year in New England. They just went in there and won. Miami, they're a bad football team. They gave you a inspired effort on Thursday Night Football on a short week on the road. Like,
it's a false narrative to like believe there's some grand plan with something at the other side, on the other side of the rainbow. That's not. It's a week-to-week league. Period.
We're building culture, though. Well, you only build culture if you win football games.
Yes, you win games. That's how you build culture. Exactly. And listen, the whole culture, magical culture talk is not nothing. It means something. But how you get there is what matters most. And it's about winning games. And how do you win games in today's league? It's not about being physical. It's not about, internalizing everything and making sure you're doing everything correctly and overthinking it. No, it's about putting guys in the right spots and understanding what wins in today's league. And if you watch Jacksonville last night and what Liam Cohen is doing, back in the day, head coaches who used to call offensive plays didn't really work often. Today, it works pretty damn well. Why? Because the head coach is the final boss. He sets the messaging. And from his vision, everything else trickles down. So if he's calling the offensive plays, everything fits better. Now, I'm not saying it can't work otherwise. It does. McDermott, Campbell, Tomlin, we know the names. But by and large, there's enough evidence with all the young offensive head coaches who call plays to understand so easily what today's modern game is about. The rules to eliminate concussions and up the offense has made us get here. Let's just embrace reality, please. That's all I'm looking for from the Jets organization.
Glenn's the CEO, culture changing coach, right? 0-5. Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, the offensive guys, the strategy guys, as you would coin the phrase.
Yeah.
Combined records 6-3. Their teams last year went 9-25. The Jets were better than both the Bears and the Jaguars a year ago. And now look what's happened already.
I'm crying on the inside because Variable and Ben Johnson were my indisputed 2 top candidates. And then I hear from people, oh, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen was never coming here. And how do you know, number one? Number two, if they weren't coming here, guess what, Jets organization? Make it known you wanted them. To bury that news is silly, because if you bury that news, other offensive minds around the league don't know for sure you were interested. Make it known. What are you going to be laughed at? Someone rejected you? Who cares? Make it known to everyone. You wanted this guy. And then more people will look towards Florham Park.
I think they knew those guys were going to turn them down, so they didn't want it out there. Oh, the Jets got rejected. Ha, 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 ha.
Put it out there. Stand up and draw a line in the sand and say, no, we're changing. We want you. Please.
My bigger issue, though, is they didn't talk to Mike McCarthy, Pete Carroll.
That too, for sure. McCarthy was, I was looking at my list the other day. McCarthy was 3 or 4 with Carroll, I think. And then it was Flores, McCown, and Glenn clumped together in that mid-tier group.
I mean, Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys, he would
have wanted Rodgers back.
Well, I think that's why they didn't bring him back.
Until the Jets understand what reality is in today's league, and until they make moves based purely on winning football games, I don't know what else we could talk about. I mean, like, I don't, what you just said, I don't know if it's true or not, but again, like, not talking to McCarthy, it's very strange. It really
I got to
is.
pull the clip of me pressing Tannenbaum on that, who's now my co-host on Sundays, on why they didn't interview those guys at the Combine, because he really didn't give me an answer, because I think he knows that the decision was made. We're not bringing Rodgers back, so let's not talk to veteran coaches who would have wanted Rodgers back. Mike McCarthy, Tomlin, Carroll, Brian Flores, anyone who's like, they probably would have wanted Rodgers back, and I think they didn't want to do that. Now, you look at McCarthy in Dallas, right? Dak got hurt his first year. They only won 6 games. Dak was healthy the next 3 straight years. They were 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Dak was obviously hurt this past year, and they were 7-10. So when he had a healthy quarterback, he won at least 12 games. So yeah. I think Mike McCarthy's, I'm not saying he's the end all be all, but he at least, like the Jets, I said this in the offseason. The Jets are in hell, right? We can't think about the Super Bowl, which would be like heaven, until you at least get out from being underground. Like, if Mike McCarthy could raise the floor and get this team over the course of 3-4 years back to being respectable, fighting for the playoffs, whatever, and he's not the guy, okay, I'll live with that down the line. Like, this team can't sniff winning more than 7 games in a season. And then they're gonna come nowhere near that this year, now after starting 0-5.
Yeah.
It's sad what's happening, man. It really is.
And and the other thing is, let's be honest, like, the momentum behind Glenn, a lot of it was because he's a former player. I'm not saying he wasn't qualified. Of course he was. Other teams wanted him. But the feeling around that, and I get it. It's 100% real and it's genuine. I understand it as a Jets fan who watched Glenn as a kid. Like, I loved him in green.
That's what's crushing why it's not working so far, and we're entertaining one and done. If it's this, because it's like, this guy he's a Jet. He wanted, I don't want Aaron Glenn to be remembered for being a bad Jet head coach. I want him to be remembered for being the guy that turned this around. Like, this is a nightmare. Like, it just,
I know. And as like, as great as that feeling is to want him to be good as a former Jet, as the head coach who turns it around, the guy who turns it around, it's going to be so great. We have to understand, him being a former Jet has nothing to do with whether he's going to succeed or not. As fans, as the organization, as players, as the head coach, as the coaching staff, we have to stop fantasizing and start living in the real world. It starts there, honestly.
Well said. All right, let's get through these quick super chats and do a few calls with you. The Rooster writes in, you want to get sick? Look at the last 4 minutes of each half, starting with Buffalo. The blatant clock mismanagement, pick sixes, missed tackles. It's all coaching. This head coach is the worst in the NFL. I mean, to quote Glenn, he talked about the last 4 minutes in each of the halves is like the time when you really coach, and they've been horrific in those scenarios.
Yeah, and listen, to be fair, there are many aspects of Glenn in which, and he's talked about in the past, and he's put on the field. Tampa, he called a timeout to try to get the ball back and try to score with Tyrod as the quarterback. And I would do it more often if Tyrod's the quarterback as opposed to Fields, because I think he's better in the 2-minute situation. So the long way of me saying this is there are things from Glenn where you go, okay, he is doing things that make me think he understands today's league, and he's not just a one-trick pony, and he's not stubborn enough to go down that route. But it just hasn't materialized in terms of what I'm seeing strategy-wise on the field.
Mike Perez says losing CJ Mosley was probably the most damning thing to this team.
I think that's the biggest. They don't have a leader on defense.
Yeah. CJ, here's the thing too, right? So like last year, Sherwood could step in because he's been in the system for a couple of years.
Mhm.
So it wasn't as big of an adjustment. But now Sherwood, high paid linebacker, you're the guy, and he's learning a new system. And clearly it's not like I'm sure he'll get better. I still think Sherwood can be a really good football player. But right now that contract is like Mo Wilkerson bad. Like that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and also they weren't great last year defensively. Like they were bad last year defensively.
He was voted team MVP though. I thought he had a good year.
Yeah, listen, that's fair. He had a good year in terms of making tackles and flying around and doing everything he can. I'm never gonna.
He played with confidence. Like he knew where to be and he made plays. Like this year, how many times you put on the tape and you see Sherwood like not in the right spot, getting fooled on something?
Yeah, no, they attack the Jets linebackers and play action. Like that's a huge game plan thing for opposing offenses. It's completely obvious. They attack the edges, specifically Clemens, to get him out in space. They attack the other edge, McDonald, in terms of running the ball. And then they attack the second level in terms of play action. And there is no resistance. Beyond no resistance. It's simple. It's easy for them.
Tom D in the raffle for 2. Weren't the Jets in favor of the tush push? I don't know why they don't run it. They should have called it on the opening drive on 3rd and goal from the 1, and they didn't get it. Run it again. In hindsight, Glenn accepting the penalty just to get 2nd and goal from the 3 as opposed to 3rd and goal from the 1. They should have just had 3rd and goal from the 1 and ran 2 QB sneaks and scored.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Especially the way that Jets offense is. If you got a Mahomes or someone who, the quarterback's been in the system for a while and they're really good at play action, then okay, you could maybe go for a 2nd and 3 at the 3. But I agree. Go 2 times from the 1, punch it in.
Dylan, super chat. Robbie, 0 true dropbacks under center, only play action / runs in 50+ snaps. Is that a Fields issue or coaching?
I mean, they're hardly under center anyway. Let's be real. So I'm not saying they don't do it. They do it, and they use the fullback at times. But the way I view it, if they're in pistol and there's a tailback behind them in pistol, I kind of view that the same. And there have been dropbacks out of that look. So I think it's kind of overblown, that thing, that piece of it.
Eli, super chat in the raffle for 2. Broncos have linebacker issues. Expose Alex Singleton. Sean is going to show off Bo Nix, have him throw it 60 times. We have a chance. Boomtown, book it now. Jets cause 2 turnovers, and we win the game. Eli, from your lips to God's ears. Eli's based in Denver, so he watches the Broncos obviously a lot more than any of us.
Yeah. How does Nix handle pressure? Let us know.
Man, I would love nothing more for them to win, but I just, by the way, and I think it was Nate in the chat who said this. He's right. The Jet fans that will be in London, they're going to be loud, and it's not the Americans coming over. It's the Jet fans that live in the UK. I was there last year and I was blown away by how passionate the UK, and just not even UK, like people were coming from every country in Europe to root for the team. Like they're going to be passionate. They will have a better home field advantage on Sunday than they would have had if this game was at MetLife. I swear to you.
They have a hell of an opportunity in terms of, being heroic, to your point. Like they could really get loud and do their thing. And that's a good point. Unless I see something in terms of what I watched today and tomorrow, if I'm Wilkes and Glenn, I'm really going to send a lot of heat at Nix and tell Sauce and Stevens, hey, especially you, Sauce, you can't freelance anymore. You have to play the details. If we're sending 6 at Nix, you could show press, but bail. Turn those hips and get back, and don't invite that deep throw, because if you're off and you're in bail, Nix is not going to throw it up and toss it up so easily. They only toss it up so easily if your head is not on, if your eyes aren't on the quarterback. So you have to be connected with what's happening with the 10 other players alongside you. And if we're sending pressure, play off. But long story short, I would think about sending a lot of pressure towards Nix's way this week.
Jimbo, morning, everyone. Looked it up. Browns 0-16 through 5 games, 6 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumble recoveries, 12 sacks. 08 Lions 0-16 through 5 games, 2 turnovers, 0 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, 4 sacks. I feel we're in between. Yay. Well, the Jets, I think they have 7 sacks on the year, but one of them was a Fugazi, like Dak had no gain and just gave himself up. So really 6 true sacks on the year. 4 of them came in week 1. Everyone knows the stat. The Jets are the first team in league history to be 0-5 without a turnover. So at least from a defensive standpoint, they are worse than the 0-16 Browns and the 0-16 Lions of 17 and 08, respectfully.
I'm thinking about it and I'm like, why haven't they blitzed a lot more?
They should just go full Greg Williams and engage it. They try and do this bullshit blitz with 5. Every quarterback, you know what on film. Like, I don't need to tell you this. Everyone knows what's coming, and they never get home. They blitz at a higher rate than most teams, but they don't get any pressure, which is basically, if you're only bringing 5, you're having one less defender out there in your secondary,
it's
and
murder.
You're getting cooked.
It's murder.
Just send the house, and if you're going to give up big plays, you're giving them up anyway with whatever the hell you're doing now. I'll live and die with it. Like, send the house. Maybe you get a tip pass, a fumble recovery, for the love of God, an interception. Like, I'm so sick of the bullshit, man. Stop bringing 5. Either bring 7 or more or don't. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
There's nothing worse in terms of being a DC, a defensive play caller, and you send 5 and it doesn't even come close to moving the quarterback.
That is gets thrown out of the club by a tight end. Like, who cares if, like, you're bringing 5 people? You need at least 6 or 7, probably 7 or more for being, like, give me the full Greg Williams. Seriously.
Yeah. But when I'm thinking about it, why aren't they blitzing more? A part of that is the defense not putting the opposing offense in passing downs enough, not often enough. That's been a big issue. The run defense, it was better earlier in the season, I feel like, but I don't think all hope is lost in terms of the run defense. I'll say that. They have issues at linebacker. I feel more comfortable in terms of the interior of the line. Even Clemens, God forbid, they crash him a lot and then replace him on the edge on run downs, and that's fine. That works. But they just got to force more passing downs. And when they do, you can't let the quarterback be comfortable with what he's seeing. Be deceptive. In other words, what they should be working on this week, all week, every day, is pre-snap games. You don't have to. There are plays when you don't have to move an inch until the snap happens. You could start too high, drive someone down after the snap happens. You could play press and just bail at the snap and turn those hips. They have to start playing those more games. They're giving away the game way too early in the sequence pre-snap. And I think they have to address that right away.
Nate, there's your question on quarterback pressure. This one from Spencer. Rob, why do we continue to decline to kick ass? Are we just soft? Are we back? Are we baby back bitches? Hell, man. Help us, please. We suck ass.
I don't know. What do you want me to What do you want me to do? Like, I can't do anything, man. I got no power. Got no control.
Peter Castro checks in. Robbie, they're not using Fields correctly. He should be running and rolling out. He's not a pocket passer.
No. And I think they need to tweak it a little bit, but they have been running RPOs and zone reads. And one of the reasons why the rushing game looks so great is because the defense is respecting that with Fields on the outside. They have to spread the defense has to spread itself thin in order to guard Fields, to guard against the threat of Fields on the edge. So his threat is still serving the purpose. But can they do more? Sure. I think a sneaky part of it is the concussion. I think once that happens, they started going more balanced. And with a guy like Fields, that's just not what I would do. Not at all.
How about this from Shake and Bake? Shake and Bake's a Bucks fan checking in. Says, love your show. I wish Bucks fans had content as entertaining as yours. Wish the best for the Jets. Garrett Wilson is the next Mike Evans. Shake and Bake, I don't know if you're interested in any Jets memorabilia, but you're in the raffle for 10. Thank you very much for the kind super chat, man. That's awesome. $50 and you're not even a Jets fan. I don't even know what to play for you, man. All my drops are Jet-centric.
You don't got Todd Bowles? You got Todd Bowles somewhere?
No, I have no Bowles cuts, unfortunately. I could give you a little Joe Beningo, though, Shake and Bake. I don't know if you know who that is.
We are mama way.
Thank you for the support, Shake and Bake. Good luck to your Bucks. I've always been a Baker Mayfield fan and a Mike Evans fan. Look, I've said for years that I think Garrett Wilson's on the Mike Evans track, unfortunately, and Mike Evans eventually stuck it out.
The career, yeah.
what has Garrett done through 3 years, right? All these different quarterbacks. He's over 1,000 yards. He's having his best statistical season to date so far. He extended and re-signed and stayed here with the Jets as Evans did for all those years. Eventually, Mike Evans got Tom Brady, and then they won a Super Bowl. And then eventually, now they have Baker Mayfield. Like, Mike Evans is having a Hall of Fame career, and everyone now is getting to see it because they're in prime time and they're winning games. Like, Garrett, I think, is a special player, and I hope one day he gets the team around him that actually could accentuate what we already know as Jet fans.
Yeah, it feels like such a long time ago where Evans was in a sea of doom, but he was for a long time. Really, just the truth.
Oh, man. And now, by the way, Tampa now has Emeka Egbuka, who's a stud, too. Just draft Ohio.
He's tremendous.
Just draft Ohio State receivers. Unless it's Devin Smith, just draft Ohio State wide receivers.
For real. Man. Like, listen, when it comes to first-round receivers, especially top 10, explosiveness is what I want. And it's the hardest to replicate. And Egbuka was as explosive as anyone, if not more than anyone, in terms of that group coming into this draft.
Fiore checks in. This is our guy, Paul, who's a great follow on Twitter. He says, I expected 0-6, but the effort, execution, bad penalties, missed tackles are alarming. If they don't improve in fundamental football, how do we trust this regime moving forward? Win 3 or less, got to go. That's the conversation. I hate doing this. I hate talking about, Glenn, Gerard Mayo, him. If they win 3 games or less, it's a conversation. I don't care what any Glenn Truther wants to tell me. Oh, he needs more. It shouldn't be this bad, man. Saleh won 4 games with a way worse team. Come on.
Agreed. As much as it sucks, agreed. It's organizational at this point. They have to. What I said before, I think holds true for the organization too. We have to stop fantasizing about things and start living in the real world. And when we assess the NFL and the real world today, 2025, the year of our Lord, it's something where we're in the wild, wild west still, and a lot of people have not caught up to what it is. It's a drastically different sport to what we knew when we were growing up.
Your calls are coming after we shout out Jess, who was in Tampa with us, having a blast till the game started. She just gifted 5 channel memberships.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
If you hear your name called, Jess made you an Asmaniac, New York Jets Smoking Lounge, Johnny Jang, EL, T-Staff, and Mark E. And 2 quick membership shout-outs here. This one is from Darth Crypto, who gifted not 1, but 2 channel memberships. So if you got one from Mr. Crypto, make sure you thank him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is a man who claims he has a plan to turn the Jets around, and he wants Robby Sabo's expert opinion in whether or not it could actually work.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
All right, guys, buckle up.
Well, hold on, Neil, before you go, I believe it or not, I caught your last 2 post-game appearances on Asman's show. Job well done, my friend.
Well, I've only been watching this team 56 years, Robbie. I should hope, and I never miss a snap. So I should hope I have some added value to, I would talk about Rich Kotite. I was Jake's age when I saw Rich Kotite coaching us. In fact, I played golf with Rich Kotite at the Jet Golf Classic. And the parking lot, I told him I had a couple of some advice for him, and he dismissed me like I was a caddy. So, and then they went 1-15. Okay, so start with and Rich Kotite. Let me say this: that team was not as bad as this team.
Correct.
When we won that game with Adrian Morrell, this is how optimistic I used to be when I was Jake's age. I actually thought we would run the table and make the play.
Hey, man.
Embarrassingly enough.
Hey, listen, they were 8-8 in 94. Right? No. They were 8-8 in 93. The spike game happened in 94, so they were 5-2 at one point, or 5-3. In other words, they weren't bad until 95, basically. So it's not crazy that you thought that.
Well, let's fast forward here, guys. Last year, if I recall, We were projected to have the 5th best roster by ESPN, Jake. Is that an accurate number, Robbie? I thought I heard 5th best roster.
When
Was
was
that
this,
last year or the year before? Yeah,
Going into last year, there were people who ranked the Jets as having the best roster in football.
Okay. Now,
There were people, not everyone, but the Jets were very highly regarded going into last year.
It was more so 2023, but yes, still last year.
So now let's fast forward here. The Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chicago Bears, and the New England Patriots didn't nearly have that high a ranking as we did last year with the rosters they had. Did we not?
Correct.
Again, Steichen's 4-1.
Steichen's a stud.
4-1. Ben Johnson 2-2, and Vrabel's 3-2.
And he's got
All
McDaniels.
with first rosters.
And Vrabel's got McDaniels, who knows a thing or two.
Okay. So let's look at our situation. We hire these two guys. They go into the draft in the 5th and 6th rounds. We had very, very good rookie quarterbacks still available. And we went and took Mayuga and traded up for this guy that's playing our defensive line, who's not an NFL player. I mean, it would have been nice, Robbie, to get a quarterback in the last draft where there was some good ones in the later rounds. Would you say that's a miss that we made in the draft? I'm not a draft guy. I want your opinion.
I'm not a huge draft guy either. It depends. Like, what round are you talking about? Late round?
Yeah, but with guys in the 4th and 5th round, they were quarterbacks. The Shador Sanders we could have had. We could have had a couple of other guys that might have been somebody we want to look at when the season continues to fall apart.
Continue.
Okay. We did not get – we talk about leadership, okay? Leadership is very, very important in football. C.J. Mosley was the leader of this team. I remember he went down in that Buffalo game, and we put Sherwood in there a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, and the team fell apart defensively because it didn't have a defensive quarterback. You need to have a leader of some sort that has a track record of success from another team on your team, and we have none of those offensively or defensively. Fair statement?
Fair. And, remember Bart Scott and Leonard and with Rex? Yeah.
Okay. So let's forward now.
Guys, yeah.
This is the grand plan.
Yeah.
We're going to get boat raced Sunday. And this is, by the way, I'm the most optimistic guy there is. Jake knows that. We're going to give up 30 points. Let's assume we give up 30 points the next 3 games. Even with Carolina, as bad as they are, they scored 30 points this year. And then after Carolina, we have Cincinnati, which, again, they'll probably score 30 on us. Now, after going into the bye, we'll be 0-8. We'll have the worst point differential in the league. We'll have the most missed tackles in the league. We will have the most penalties in the league. And we will have and have the worst turnover ratio in the league. Let's assume all of those things happen at 0-8. Now, as negative as we all are, and I know still people are in the chat, have some patience. We got to give them a year or 2 or 3. We got to see what happens. We got to this, we got to that. Look, if we're 0-8 and those things exist, is it safe to say he's not a head coach? He's in the wrong position. At that point, let's just fast forward to what I just said. Are we still going to be as patient as we are right now? Yes or no?
Wouldn't feel good. I don't think anyone would be too optimistic.
He's going to get the year either way, though, Neil. So.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see what Neil's thinking, what he's cooking up right now.
So I'm cooking up. We're 0-8. We are in the bye. And we are of the opinion that nothing's getting better. And we're of the opinion that we're going to probably be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And like Jake said, and we've all said a couple of times here, I do not trust this organization to pick the next draft for our team, and certainly the best quarterback. Now, if you were going to hire a general manager to lead this team in 2026. Who, in your opinion, forget about general manager, who, in your opinion, would you want to select the number one pick for the New York Jets that's out there available right now in your mind? Who would that be?
I'm the wrong guy to I have
Jake,
zero.
who would you think would be a good pick? Well, let me ask, would John Gruden be a good guy to select a quarterback?
That's the master plan. 0-8, you want to fire Glenn and bring in
I was going to say
No,
Joe Bedingo.
I didn't finish. You didn't let me finish. I did not say that.
Well, you're asking us questions. So lay out the plan,
Okay,
then we'll react.
Let me get to the short and sweet, okay?
Oh, my God. It's short and sweet. You don't know how to do that. Go
All right,
ahead.
let's bring in, after we're 0-8, let's get Rex Ryan in here and try and reignite this team. Now, I heard everybody say there's 10 years since he's been in the league. He doesn't know about 2025. He doesn't this, he doesn't that. Bottom line is the guy's a coaching is in his blood. His whole family's a coach.
You can't do it in season. That's like Jeff Saturday all of a sudden coaching the Colts in the middle of the year. He didn't win anything. There was no point.
That doesn't matter. Jeff Saturday wasn't an established coach. That was our best coach ever that wants to be a Jet.
Neil, I love Rex, but you're not adding him in the middle of the season. Give Glenn the whole year. Let him see if he can figure it out. If he can't, we'll evaluate if they got to do the unfortunate one and done reality at the end of the year. We're not pulling the plug on Aaron Glenn. You know what the perception of the Jets is if they do that? You're never going to be able to get anyone who wants the job if you make that type of decision.
Well, who's going to want the job, Jake? If we're 1-15, who's going to want the job?
Someone who looks at this team and goes, "Wow, there's still some pretty good players on it, and I have the number one pick in the draft and more cap space. I can make that work." It's one of 32.
We had that last year. We had the number 5 roster out there. We had high draft picks.
The roster wasn't as good as that, as we saw.
To us then.
Well, people wanted this job. Let's not act like people didn't want this job. They chose not to interview Mike McCarthy or Gruden or Carroll. They didn't request him. Flores interviewed here. He would have been a good hire, in my opinion. They could have had him. They interviewed Josh McCown. Who's going to be one of the top candidates this cycle again. The idea they can't get someone, that's not true. But you're making it harder now to get someone. If your genius plans to fire Glenn, who's a lifelong Jet, wanted this job, bleeds green. You fire him 8 games in. You bring back Rex for what? You gotta let Glenn get a better year.
Let's say this, Jake. Let's say if Rex comes in and turns things. The reason I only bring Rex up is this defense is historically bad.
Agreed.
It is so.
Look, I love Rex. I love Rex as a defensive mind.
At 0-8, you're done.
I don't want to fix. I'm not saying that we're going to go from the worst defense in the league to the best. But the reality is, if he makes a major step forward in the second half of the season and brings the defense back to some respectability, wouldn't it make sense? Now you
what practice time to do it? You can't just implement a brand new offense.
You might also hurt players. You might also hurt the players.
The players right now, Robbie, just in my mind as a player, okay?
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams texted, "A rebuild is on the way as soon as we got rid of Rodgers." Did he not, Jake?
Yes.
Okay, now let's assume that every week they go out there. There's Aaron Glenn with his boxing gloves. He's beating the shit out of these guys when they were used to Salo, who coddled them and kissed them in the ass all week long. Now they have a drill sergeant that has no respect and no history of winning. At least Rex Ryan took us through 2 championship games. And the guy's got pedigree.
Neil, I love Rex. We're talking about something 15 years ago, and at 0-8, there's no point in making a change. Let Glenn get the year. He's got to show we could either figure it out, like Dan Campbell. We're going to bring him up all the time because that's what Glenn wants to reference. They started 0-8, so let's see if Aaron Glenn can turn this around.
But my fear, like you said yesterday, my fear is they win by accident 2 of the last 3 games, and they sell us that this is going to be next year's going to be better, Jake. I don't want this staff back after this, what I'm seeing here in the first half of the year. It's
but you can't fire him at 0-8, Neil. If your fear is they win 2 of their last 3 games, we're nowhere near that even at 0-8. Look at how many games are still left from that point on.
I just want to throw it out there. I just want to say to you guys, this regime is look, there's guys that are coaches and leaders, and there's guys that are coordinators. Who is running the number 1 defense in the league right now? Do you know who it is? Jeff Ulbrich.
It could
running
be
the number 1.
And that's
Falcons
the point. And that's the point. Why would we go with another defensive-minded head coach?
Why did we? You said
no. Why would we?
Oh well, I would because
if Ulbrich would look terrible as a. head
Okay.
coach.
Well-
And now, see, defense is so random these days. There's no such thing as a great defense in the NFL today.
Okay. What about
name the last great defense? Name the last great defense in the NFL.
Oh, I don't mind having, look, the defense is so piss poor that I don't want to hire an offensive-minded coach either because the defense stinks.
Well,
Robbie,
no, this is a good exercise. Name the last great NFL defense.
2015 Broncos, probably the last one I thought of. Like they won because of their
great defense.
Yes,
won a Super Bowl because of their defense. Is that what you're saying, Robbie?
Yes.
I would say the 2015 Broncos.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. Seattle, Legion of Boom. I don't think there have been any in the last decade.
So what you're suggesting, Robbie, is we get an offense. So you're agreeing.
It doesn't have to be an offensive guy. I'm just saying.
But you're agreeing with me that it looks like, based on the fact that we win maybe 2 games, we have the number 1 pick, and this defense and all the statistics. It's not just about the record, guys.
I would clean house if that happened, Neil. I wouldn't fight. Like, here's the thing, Neil. I love the passion. I'm not making a change at 0-8. At that point, Glenn gets the year. Woody, stay on your ass. Don't intervene. Let evaluate at the end of the year. Don't say you got to fire Wilkes. Let Glenn have control over everything. He gets the year. If it is to the point where they win 2 games, then it's a fair conversation to talk about, do we want to move forward with this coach, this regime, when we have the number 1 or the number 2 pick in the draft, and we're going to take a quarterback, and we're going to be entering a transformational or whatever the word I'm looking for here, type of decision that's going to have ramifications for the next 5+ years. Like, that's the conversation. But you don't do it at 0-8. There's no point.
Yeah, it could. I understand where Neil's coming from. Totally get it. But it could hurt the player's progress. No matter how bad the scheme is on the field, changing things that drastically could do a lot of damage internally.
Especially for Rex, who I love. But, like, why would Rex want to take the job at the end of the year?
Rex, Mike, if you hire Rex might never leave. Like, if you think the Capitol riots or something, wait. I mean, geez.
Yeah, but as good of a defensive coach as Rex is, I don't
love
think
Rex as a defensive mind.
I don't think he could fix it immediately. He has no practice time with these guys.
Listen, I don't even think that. It goes back to what I said before. As fans, as an organization, we have to stop fantasizing and live in the real world. Rex, I love Rex as a defensive mind. I think he could figure it out in today's league, but his defense will never be the reason they win games. That's just the way it is. Sorry. It's not. It's another nostalgic, like, feel good thing. The odds of the next Jets great leader on the sideline will be a guy that everyone is up in arms about. Who is this guy? What do we do? Those are the greatest odds, because in that case, it'll be someone who thinks the game out in terms of how he applies it practically to what it is today. Where is that guy? I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I was so gung-ho about taking a shot on McCown, even though I didn't know for sure. Obviously, it would have been a swing for the fences. It would have been a major gamble.
Well, my thing was, if you're going to swing for the fences with any first timer, you prefer an offensive guy. That's just where the league is going.
Yeah,
Not to say that Glenn can't be successful. Vrabel's a defensive guy, but he's a great strategist too. Like, Mike Vrabel knows the rules better than any coach in the league. Like, he's hired multiple offensive coordinators that became head coaches. Like, the guy is a football savant. He might not be a quote offensive guy, but he can coach the whole team.
Yep, McDermott falls in that category. Tomlin's Tomlin. We know that. Campbell is an offensive guy, but he leaned on Ben. And again, the Lions in 2021, not great. That was Glenn's first year, Campbell's first year. Ben Johnson didn't get there until 2022, and that's when the turnaround happened. 2021, Anthony Lynn of Rex Ryan fame was the offensive coordinator. Campbell, after just 1 year, changed it. He saw, man, this guy knows where the game's going. Just like McDermott did with Dorsey and Brady, he ousted Lynn and put Ben Johnson in, and away they go. So it doesn't have to be an offensive guy as head coach. It just has to be a guy who understands what the game is today. That's the bottom line.
Neil says Gruden head coach at GM, Rex DC.
Dude, Gruden would be tremendous.
If the content would be amazing. Rex, Let me say this for Rex. He's never taking a defensive coordinator job with the Jets. His ego would not allow him to do it. There's no chance.
That would be something I would be intrigued with.
If Glenn wanted to hire Rex, I would love that. I don't think Rex would take the job. I think Rex would look at it like, why the hell would I be the DC?
Yeah.
This team has sucked since I
don't blame him.
Every year since I've been the head coach.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit.
Remember, Rex knocked the Jets out of the playoffs the last time they truly had an opportunity to go to the playoffs.
Yes,
10 years ago already.
2015. And listen, I love Rex. Will always love Rex. I thought he did a great job with those Jets teams. I think he's a great defensive mind. It's more just, coincidental circumstances that has me on the never Rex bandwagon in terms of head coach. It's just not the right route, in my opinion. Hey, maybe like they hire him and he proves me wrong. That would be the best thing I could say.
Let's do one more call with your Sabo, and then we'll say goodbye. You'll like this guy. Black Gypsy is next. Hello, Mr. Gypsy.
Sabo. So, I actually have plans. I actually have plans on what we do. I don't know what the fuck Neil was talking about.
I saw you. You were on the post game show too, I think. If I'm correct. Yeah. Yep.
So, when we got Fields, in my mind of minds, I made comments and everybody laughed at me. They're like, "Oh, you're nuts, D." What Fields is an option quarterback. What our offense is an option offense. Like, we are made to run the option. I don't want to see us play any natural football. None of that nonsense. We are not that team. We are Ohio State. We are Florida State. We are a team that can run the option. That's what we should do. Every defense will respect us, come up to the line, and that gives our receivers more one-on-ones. Like,
we saw that in Pittsburgh. We saw that in week 1.
Exactly. We need to play option football. I don't want to see Angstrom do anything else. We pick Fields. Fields cannot throw the ball. Run an option offense. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. It is what it is. We suck anyway. We need to run an option offense. Every defense is literally sitting on us and playing the most basic defense to stop our offense because they know where Fields is going to go. He's looking for Wilson. He's looking for a tight end underneath. So it's easy to play a zone against that. You don't have to go man against them. You can just play zone and relax the whole time and send a blitz off the edge every once in a while. That's what
by the way, considering those constraints are true, what you just said, Engstrand's done a hell of a job scheming.
He has to get him, but Fields still sits there and hesitates. So you have a guy that hesitates. You have to put him in the option. Put him in what he knows. He knows to run the ball first and then pass second. Give him that option to do that. Let him play at his best possible skill level, which is that. Like, if we do that, the offense now makes defenses play on their heels. Every offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator that's coming into a game is going to plan to try and stop Fields. That means when Angstrom goes back to traditional, every once in a while, people are open. Like, you play Philly's offense, you play Baltimore's offense, you copy that offense and use your tight ends, like use your fullback. Put all those people in the game because it's just not working the other way around. We've gotten garbage points. So people are like, Angstrom is good. Angstrom is okay. He's mediocre at best right now because if I picked up Fields, like, when I play Madden, if I play an option offense, I play an option offense. If I'm playing I-form, I play I-form, then go to single back. Like, you know what I'm doing. Come and beat me at my scheme that I'm giving you. Like, he hasn't done that yet. He's gotten out-coached by the defense every game. Minus the Pittsburgh game.
Did Engstrand sufficiently play that offense in week 1 against Pitt in your mind?
He was close. He was close. It was a good start, so I was optimistic about how he called the offense. Since that, he has not called the offense that way. Maybe because of concussion. I don't care. Fields is a running quarterback. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
Okay.
Play to the people's best qualities, and that's what Fields' qualities are. This offense is made to block, which they did pretty good for 3 weeks until the last game. Let them do what they're good at. A basic scheme. Everybody knows an option offense. All the worry is going to be on the defense. They have to figure out how to stop Fields. They have to figure out how to stop the fullback. Like, you play split backs. You have 2 guys back there you can pass the ball, hand the ball off to, or run the ball. Like, it's very, very simple concept. It's not hard. Angstrom picked a guy that runs the ball. He's a running back that throws.
I think for the most part, he. Listen, I agree with you 100%. But for the most part, I'll say this: he has done that, except when Buffalo happened. When Buffalo happened, the concussion happened. Tyrod entered the game, and they had to shift the offense a little bit to Tyrod for Tampa week 3, and it hasn't been as forceful in the last 2 weeks. I agree with you. There's been elements there.
Like, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I know you're running the option, my defense is based around stopping Fields, like, and getting guys in the backfield. So I'm going to have guys up on the line and spy him, like, put a spy on him. That leaves somebody open over the middle when you have to put a spy on him.
Defense are still doing it. But your point is taken 100%. Like, they could do more. I agree. The biggest concern is that they're force feeding the idea that we're trying to turn Fields into something he's not.
Yeah,
My
I don't
biggest concern.
want to see that. I don't want to see Fields as the passer. Like, he is not that. Stop making guys. And it's the thing about black quarterbacks that they've always had to say that they can't pass. So
I mean,
like,
that's just the result of, you know,
it is.
how they're
But
dunking
still
in my
though, like,
face like all the
if you're
time.
good at something, you're good at something. Do what
Right.
you're good at.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
if you run the ball, bro. Like Chicago, when they were good, they ran the ball. They would barely pass. Like, you have somebody that can run the ball, let him do it. You have 3 guys. Isaiah Davis is off the chain. Brees
I
is
love
okay.
Isaiah Davis. He's a winning player.
I'm not
Isaiah
the
Davis.
biggest Brees fan, but I think Brees is a good running back. And you have Fields, you have Beck, you have Mason, you have Rucker. That is your team. And then you have
Yep.
Wilson, who is your one-on-one destroyer. So anytime you get him a one-on-one, you go to him. Like,
Let's
for the rest of the
be
game,
real. Let's be real. The last 2 weeks, they came out smash mouth, run the ball right down the field. The first couple
exactly.
of drives.
But it's still in
Fumbles
that.
happened. Then the fumbles. So it's like, again, I'm on the same page with you. I want to see more of it. Even go crazier with it. I agree.
Yes,
But
go crazy with it. Like, punch him in the face with the option.
You can't fumble either. You can't fumble. That's
I mean,
definitely one thing. You cannot do that.
I'd rather them play an offense that's their style and mess up in that offense that you know that this offense can actually win versus, like, when we get down the field, it's like a luck, like, oh my God, we actually got a first down. Thank God.
Sure,
if we have an offense that's based in the option, everyone's going to be like, this team is an option team now. We have to respect them as such.
You have to understand the give and take with that. Yes, I agree with you. You have to do that. But what that means is you have to be buttoned up. It decreases your chances of making a mistake and overcoming it.
Exactly. So I know I would rather us lose in a concept than lose without a concept. We have no identity as a team right now. Our identity is we're going to throw to Wilson and we're going to throw to the tight end. Every team can buckle down on that because you know the third receiver isn't there. So you know what to stop. As a defensive coordinator, you can easily plan to stop our team. It's not hard. Like, that's my whole point on offense. That's an actual plan. That's what this team needs to do. Whether they're going to do it or not, that's
third in yards per carry. It's pretty, you know.
So I think third down last week,
they're almost there. They're almost there in terms of forcing it.
They're almost. It needs to be our identity. Like, that's what I want to see from this team. Like we have no identity. On 3rd and 1 last week, they went to Sampson, which is apparently the guy they think is their best offensive lineman, because Fields backed it out and went to the left to go behind Sampson. We need to figure out who our best offensive lineman is. So when we do decide to run the tush push, we know who to put it behind or just go straight ahead with Myers.
You mean Simpson?
Simpson, whatever his name is.
I was like, who the hell is Sampson? Yeah,
I was thinking,
they literally pushed.
I went to college hoops right away.
Yeah, they pushed it to the left and ran behind him, and he got beat. He's been getting beat for a couple weeks now, but like, it is what it is. We need to figure out who that guy is to run the tush push behind or to run the block behind. And they like to run to the left-hand side. So most teams are going to know when you're going to do that tush push, you're going to go to the left-hand side. We need to have just strategy and detail in the offense, which we don't technically have yet.
My best guess is they worked on the tush push in private when the media wasn't there, and they deemed it not to be successful enough. My best guess is their height in the interior with Myers and Tittman makes it very
with Myers there. Yeah.
Myers and Tittman are taller for interior guys, and you have to be low. And with the tush, that's my best guess. I have no idea, but I think that would be my guess why we're not seeing it.
I would love to see Tittman back at center. Myers is shit in the bed.
Who you playing at guard?
Myers played a guard, not center. Myers played center.
I wouldn't see defense. I wouldn't worry about the offense so much. I think it's more so just principle in terms of what they're prioritizing as an organization, as a top level item with Glenn. I think that's the main thing, honestly.
Now, for the defense, I have the solution. I said it before. You went on.
I gotta hear this. Yeah.
Cover 6, nickel, and quarters defense. Based on the personnel that you have, you can see it in the team. He's preaching man. That's why they're pressing and biting so much on the play actions. Like, Clemens should have an assignment the whole game. Either you give him the running back or the quarterback. That's it. Pick that guy, go for that guy. Play the outside, because everyone knows Clemens bites on the inside. So wherever he's lined up, they run a play action too. He bites every time they run to that direction. Pass goes to that direction. 2 plays last week happened because Clemens bit all the way on the inside. So give him an assignment. Back him up. Let him be that guy that comes off the edge, or inside outside combination. or pull him over all the way to the middle and let him come down the middle because he's going to bite to the middle anyway. So
they run a lot of exchanges with him in base when he's on edge. They want him crashing, and then they replace it with a scrape with a linebacker or a DB sometimes even.
It hasn't worked because Sherwood cannot play man. He's not fast enough or strong enough to play man. Like Saleh saw, and this is the thing that annoyed me about people when they talked about Saleh. Saleh knows how to run a defense. He runs what the guys can do.
When Mosley's out there, he does.
Plus, he had a Mike linebacker. Sherwood is not a Mike linebacker. He can't call out the plays. Like when the offense switches, Sherwood stays in the same spot. He has his hands up, pointing at guys, asking where to go. Like he doesn't know what's going on. I watch the games right after the games happen before I get on to the show. Like when I'm on the show after post game, I'm watching the plays over and over. Like you can see just the dysfunction on defense. So I'm a zone person.
There's no leader. There's no leader.
Yeah, there's no one calling the defense and telling people where to be.
This is a pre-snap league. The motion, we've never seen motion as much as now. Why does motion happen? Because it's pre-snap games. You're trying to find out. You're trying to gain information. So you need a quarterback on D. You need a quarterback on D just as much as you need one on offense. And you're right. I don't see much from the D in terms of that.
So what do you think? These are my three defenses that
cover 6. I'm huge with 6 against anything 3x1. There's a million variations of 6 you could run in a million different things. I can't remember a 6 called at all this year, which is he runs a lot of Tampa against 3x1. He runs a lot of Tampa.
It's insane.
Now
it's insane for
theoretically, Tampa 2 with this personnel makes sense because Sherwood used to be a safety. So in Tampa 2, you have the 2 safeties get wider. That's what it does. Tampa 2 is really a 3 deep. It's the safeties getting wider to the sideline and the linebacker running hips turned down the middle. So he's basically the middle free safety.
Yeah, he's the middle free safety.
Theoretically, it makes sense for Sherwood. I just hate it against 3x1. 6, you see 6 against 3x1 so often in today's football, and Wilkes just doesn't do it. I don't get it.
And you're pressing in Tampa 2. You're going to get beat. You literally need to have the personnel, cornerbacks that can go man to man and keep up with them, which we don't have. Like,
you know why he likes Tampa? Because you know why he likes 2? Because Sherwood Stevens leads the team in solo tackles right now. They like to preach physical corners, and that's all fine and well. That's great. I like it. Sauce even had a tackle. Sauce even had a great tackle on the first drive this past weekend. That's cool. That's fine.
He's tackled better this year, to be fair to Sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, he has. He has been much better this year.
And you notice with their corners, I like this too, what Wilkes does. When he doesn't have a receiver out wide, the corner, they're playing zone, and he's on a tight end, he is actively in the run fits, that corner, that outside corner. And I like that. But you can't allow that to ruin the pass coverage in a modern way. And I feel like those philosophies are ruining more flexibility. You got to be they have to not give away the coverage so easily pre-snap. That's the biggest thing. If you want to watch a team that does it well, watch Buffalo. They fly around and move post-snap as opposed to pre-snap. Like they'll start too high and be in a 3 sky where one of the high safeties is supposed to be in the flat, and he flies down there after the snap. The Jets are giving away. Yeah, Jets are giving away too much info before the snap.
There's no disguise. I'd rather if you're not going to run a disguise and play Tampa 2, just play nickel, play cover 6, play quarters. Like just show me what you have, and then my defenders can be in better positions to go get the ball. Because in man that we're playing press, we bite, and I've never seen a team bite so badly on play action. Like we bite on the inside and the outside. Every quarterback that's played us has looked their best playing against us because it's a simple defense to beat. You know, over the middle, if your linebacker isn't fast enough or not dropping back to cover, he's going to get beat.
It's also details. So last week, Sauce gave up a slant. Do you remember the slant Sauce gave up? To the bottom near side of the screen.
Yeah, with Cisco blitzing and Dad knew right away.
Exactly.
Okay, so it was a 3x1 look. 3 receivers on top. 1 receiver on the near side. Sauce was on him. Jets were bluffing the blitz. They were trying to make it ambiguous. Like, was the blitz going to come from the 3-weapon side or they want the solo weapon side? It came from the solo weapon side with Sauce. Now, you have a pressure on. It was either a 5 or 6 man rush. If you're the cornerback, how do you play it? Straight up?
Back up. You back up.
Well, here's the thing. what you don't do is give up the inside, because the pressure is going to get to the quarterback and the pressure is on your side. So the pressure is going to be in the quarterback's face. It's going to be even tougher to get it there. So invite the vertical there, invite the turn and run to the sideline, play it inside. Instead, he gives up the inside. And it's easy for the quarterback. It's the details within the coverage. That's what's so important, and that's what's missing.
Which is what's crazy to me, because if AG is watching that game as a defensive coordinator and sees Sauce bite, like this, I would go back to him, Sauce, back up 2 steps and then break on the ball as soon as the ball is hot. Like give yourself a chance to get to the ball.
Yeah. There's a thing where they kind of allow Sauce to do his thing and freelance and play press in situations where you don't really. I wouldn't want a corner playing press if you don't have. If it's single high pre-snap, the quarterback sees, oh, it's one-on-one. I'm going to take a shot deep. I don't want to invite that, because that increases the risk of defensive pass interference way too often. So I'm going to tell Sauce, hey, play off coverage in this situation. You can't let him freelance on every play. That's what I'm saying.
If I'm Wilkes, right, and Sauce hasn't gotten an interception all year, I'm not going to have him on press. I'm going to have him playing coverage and giving the receiver a step so he can break, because Sauce isn't fast. Sauce is not going to.
You don't want to say you can't have him in press. You want to say you want to have him in the right spot per every other defender. You want to have him in the right details, which means some plays press, sometimes off. You see what I'm saying?
In press plays, though, he's gotten beat. Almost every press play that he's put on. Yeah,
everyone's going to get beat.
My point exactly. So give yourself the opportunity to start off in press right before that ball's up, back up 2 steps. Revis would do it. Revis would press you, the back up 2 steps, turn on you, and go with you. Sauce cannot turn as fast as Revis can and break on the ball. He literally turns and grabs their jerseys and run. That's how he keeps up the run with them. He doesn't have that burst of speed to play man press.
He could play man press. I know what you're saying, but he could play man press. He just makes it more difficult on himself based on him playing his game, as opposed to him playing his game within the concept of the play.
So those are my two things: option offense, and we need to play nickel cover 6 and quarters, because that's with the personnel we have. It'll be better for us. At least it would slow down a team to get them when they're in field goal range, that you can do something different to force a turnover. Because the other way, they're just beating us getting to field goal range.
They need to make the quarterback uncomfortable. The offense, they're way too comfortable. That's what it comes down to.
And you're bringing the same blitz from different sides every time out of the same formation. Like, run, give me a nickel, give me a quarters and blitz out of that. Make them guess. Make them guess to where the coverage is going to fall back to. Like, we have bad linebackers. Nickel is the best thing for bad linebackers. That it gives them the best opportunity to do anything on the field.
The way I view it is just defense today is throwing shit at the wall, trying to stay ahead of the offense in terms of making them stuck in a continual thinking pattern. That's all it is. You're going to get beat. You're going to give up battles. What you choose to give up is the key. And if any defensive mind goes into a football game today thinking my guys are going to pitch a shutout,
it's insane.
They're not going to have much success. That's not the way to attack it. That's kind of the thing.
You said it before, and it's the biggest thing for me. From game 1, I told Jake, and everybody thought I was overreacting when it came to Wilkes. Strategy, like, in details. You have to have something. I get it was the first game, so you don't know what's going to happen. But that was probably his best defensive game, Wilkes, compared to the rest of the games that we play. Even though he's tried to change it up to make it better, it hasn't gotten better because he doesn't. It's a stubborn defense, and that's just not going to work. Like, you have to bend to what the offense is doing to put yourself in better situations.
Yeah,
details, and strategy, bro.
It's a lot of fight through when they're in man. They got to implement more zone match. They got to implement more match and communicate. You can't fight through everything.
You got to keep playing Clemens. Look at this masterpiece, by the way.
Hold on, I hopped off
because he would have an assignment.
Like, these were back-to-back plays, by the way. Just so
I hear what you're saying with the assignment. You don't
think the quarterback is going to go. Like, my whole thing for Clemens would be, your job is the quarterback. You go after nobody else. If there's a run, we will find somebody else to stop the run. I don't want you involved in any of the run plays. Play the quarterback. That's it.
All right, Black Gypsy, you're the man. Great call.
Yep.
Mr. Sabo? That was a long one, but you two were just talking scheme, and I was enjoying kind of listening to it all. But appreciate you hopping on, man.
You got it. Talk soon.
JetX, JetXFactor.com. Underdog podcast with Corbett this week. Is he going to London? Who knows? Sabo, you there? He doesn't know that he's still on. All right, there we go. All right, we do have some people still on the line. We're going to do the raffle coming up. I cannot do a incredibly long show today because I have something at 1 I got to be at. So here's what we are going to do, though. We're going to play a short clip. When we come back, we rapid fire through your calls. And then if you want to enter the weekly raffle, you can. Sign name with helmet, sign Corbett football, sign sauce jersey. Get a raffle away those 3 prizes. We are back right after this.
You sons of bitches. I've got a problem with my prepaid card, and I'm trying to fix it. There's some bogus charge on my card, and I don't like the sign of that.
Hey, Beast, which tank top do you like?
I'm not interested in tank tops. Those are for girls. What the hell is wrong with you? Give me someone American I can speak to.
Unless you get the account verified, I won't be able to.
Give me someone American I can talk to.
Why are you so upset? I do apologize, but
I already gave you the account number. Why are you sitting here BSing me? Well, you're sitting there with your hand up your ass. Hello? I had a problem fighting with one.
All over $10. What's your Venmo, Beast? You have a Venmo? I'll give you $10 right now to make your whole.
I'm pulling it up right now.
$9.99?
Yes.
Here you go, buddy. You've been made whole.
New password, and I can't even get one. I don't even know a password. I'm trying something here.
Gator says, was Beast the best choice as your tech support engineer? I still believe in him, Gator. Absolutely.
I tried raunchy 14. Didn't want to work. Minimize 8 characters, maximum 20. You son of a bitch.
Hey, try I'm not a meatball 69. Hogwarts 350 LBs.
Hey, watch it. Got it. Oh, bullshit, man. Really getting me really ridiculous. This is so fucking stupid. I don't know what the fuck. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the part of the call where Beast turns his camera off and he's gone. Farewell, Beast. Here's your Neil call recap brought to you by Boomtown. Point 1, Neil has been watching the Jets for 56 years. Point 2, he played golf with Rich Kotite, and he ignored Neil's advice. Point 3, the Jets have no leaders. Point 4, provide stats to illustrate how inept the team is. Point 5, does not trust the staff to pick the next franchise QB. Point 6, if the Jets start 0-8, it's time to bring in Rex Ryan. Point 7, made it clear he doesn't want to fire Glenn, but also wants Rex to come in and turn it around. Neil used 7 of his 13 comments during the call. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage has now been set. We shout out Cobalt Jet, who just entered our raffle for 1. Cobalt Jet, thank you. The Great Black Gypsy, who was just on the line there chopping it up with Sabo. Bang! He's in the raffle for another entry. C checking in with a $10 super chat. He's in for 2. Listening from behind, agree 100% with everything you said earlier regarding the team, making Glenn look bad. Guy put everything on the line to come here and wanted the job, rooting for him, man. That's the thing too, right? Like, we can criticize Glenn, and I certainly have, and I think it's fair. These guys are making him look bad with their effort, right? This guy's a Jet. He wanted the job. We don't want it to not work. We don't want him to fail. These players are making him look bad with their effort. Lack of understanding how to play football. Like, dude, the kick returner they brought in, Avery Williams, returning the kick out of the end zone. When if you just take a knee, you get the ball at the 35. What are we doing? Spencer Green responding to Neil's Rex Ryan comments. Neil, for the love of shit, man. Rex has no plan. Fiore checks in with his 9-month Asmaniac super chat. Joe Brady, Kingsbury, Gruden, McCarthy, we pick 1. If Cliff would be interested in the job, right? If the Jets had the number 1 pick, I think you got to strongly consider him. Same with Joe Brady. You have to consider the offensive guys. I know it'd be another first timer, but if we're going to do the first time thing again, it has to be an offensive guy. It cannot be another defensive guy. As far as McCarthy and Gruden, I'm at least talking to them. I have to. Matt L. in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Matt. We're giving away those 3 items coming up, but we got to hit on some calls here before we do that. Victory Monday and Clifton are the first 2, and then we'll get to Adam, Chef Kev, and Derek before we wrap. What's up, Victory Monday?
Hey, Jake,
haven't
man.
had any of those in a long time.
What?
We haven't had any of those in a long time.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough, but I appreciate everything you do. I know it's a struggle. I mean, you streamers deserve like a deep playoff run season or two coming up because it's just a lot more fun when everyone's have good vibes instead of fighting with each other in the chat. But I guess the thing that I'm still like stuck with this weekend is just, I don't know why it's still in my head, but the Breece Hall interview like afterwards is just like crushing me because it's like there's no accountability for like the terrible play you made that changed the whole game before the half, and then you're just gonna basically imply that you want to be traded like as soon as possible. It's just, I don't know, man. It's tough like investing so much in these players, and then we don't do the right thing by giving them success on the field, but they also don't do anything right by us with the way they play. So I don't know.
To be fair, Breece was accountable. He said, it can't happen. I let the team down. I can't be one of the leaders on offense and do that. So, like, the one particular quote that was making the rounds, oh, does he want out or whatever? That wasn't his whole presser. People just took that and that they acted like he didn't say anything, like he didn't own his mistake. He definitely did.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's just, I don't know. It's tough. I was at the bar with my kids we have an awesome Jets fan group in Austin. And one of the guys turned to me jokingly and was just like, hey, man, you sure you want to let your kids grow up with this team? And honestly, for the first time ever, because I have a lot of Patriots fans, they've made that joke forever. For the first time ever, I was like, maybe I should let them pick their own team because this is just too much. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come on and say thanks again for all the content you bring. And, hopefully we have a good season for you coming up.
Would be nice. Victory Monday. Good call. Hope all is well down in Austin. I know there's a lot of Jet fans there. Houston as well. Jets next year could potentially play in Houston. It's unlikely, though. They'll play an AFC South team. Texans, I mean, they are, in third place right now. And I guess the Jets, in theory, could finish in third behind or in front of Miami. Doesn't look like it. But they're probably not going to play Houston. They could play Tennessee, though, next year. That could be the road trip game for the Asmaniacs. They're also scheduled to go to Chicago. So we might do that. It's going to depend on when that game falls on the calendar. Couple membership shout-outs. Green Gang, making it rain for the people. How about a 5-spot of gifted memberships? Yeah. Bang! Love it. Green Gang, thank you, my friend. Appreciate your support as always. So Green Gang's in the raffle for 5. Austrian Jet Fan is in for 1. Cobalt Jet, who became a member, now sending in a super chat to get 2 more tickets. Says, what would Glenn have to do to be fired year 1 in your eyes? For it to continue to look like this and they're winning 3 games or less, I think you have to consider it. 2 games, he's out. 3, I think it's like, well, where do the 3 wins come from? 2 of their last 3? When one of them is meaningless against a Bills team in Week 18 that's sitting their starters because they're the 1 seed? I hate having this conversation. I really do. But I think that's your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gusbuster Hotline is...
Hey, Jake.
Hello, Mr. Clifton.
So the problem with bringing Rex back in is that he's going to want to run a 3-4. And, it looks like the league is kind of going away from 3-4s largely. There's only a few teams that really run it primarily now. And we don't have the personnel to do that right now if you drop Rex in. Like, we would probably need 2 or 3 years of building what he needs to run that effectively. And then, assuming we get the right players, there's no guarantee that that's still going to be effective in 15 years down the line from Rex. So, like, I'm with you. Like, an offensive mind, preferably a veteran guy. If Glenn does not pan out, which brings me to my next point: is what is going to get Glenn fired? What's going to get him fired is an inability to fix this defense, right? And the penalties that we've shown the last few years, which is still a problem. So, like you guys were saying before, if it's not, more all-out blitzes or, more man or coverages in the secondary, or if it's not, changing the personnel, what is it? Because you got to start trying something. You got to start trying something desperately to show results that show that you're going to be able to not give up a minimum of 27 points per game. To me, that's the imperative for Glenn. He's got to get better with the discipline, and he's got to get better with the defense. We know exactly what Fields is. We can't stop him from throwing, the ball a little bit inaccurately behind guys and not anticipating. And he is what he is. I think we've heard some good ideas about what can make the offense good and sustainable with Fields. It's a matter of fixing the defense and the discipline here on out. I appreciate the time.
Kyle, well said. I mean, everything should be on the table when you're on 5. Everything. Every idea, doing something different, personnel, scheme, everything. Agreed. Adam is next. Then Kevin and Derek will close. What's up, Adam?
Hey, so it's quite a weekend for Jets fans, I'd say. But I'd say we've been through worse, and it's true. But I was pretty young when I experienced '96.
I mean, three wins over 2 years, man. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, I think something that I haven't heard in the press conferences is, has he actually asked the players what they think? Like, when it's all said and done, like, maybe the players have some ideas. Because when we say, oh, we're going to go back to work, is that also like asking, the players themselves why they keep missing their assignments or why there's still confusion on the line? Because maybe that would help solve the problem if he was actually listening to the players.
I mean, I don't know. I maybe they get input from the players. We're not there, so we don't know.
Yeah. Also, interesting that we haven't seen any malcontents yet, really. I mean, we got some hints, sort of some cracks, maybe, if you want to call it that. But usually this is about the time when the malcontents come out and they start complaining in social media about things. So it's very interesting that there hasn't been that yet, even though
that's part of the reason you paid Sauce and Garrett, right? Like,
yeah.
If they were 0-5 and they didn't get extensions, the conversation right now wouldn't just be, is Aaron Glenn going to survive? It's trade Sauce, trade Garrett. They're not going to re-sign here. Get picks. You're not going to win with them. But they made the commitment to them, so they're expecting those guys. And Garrett was voted team captain for a reason and has performed to be leaders during this stretch. So you're not going to hopefully see that.
Yeah, I do think that, if things continue, I could definitely see a change at the bye with Wilkes. I feel like that's an easy target, as I've been saying. But
I mean, Wilkes, they could fire Wilkes after this game Sunday if they get destroyed in London. They fired Salah last year after London.
They could, but I think it's better to do these changes during a bye week. It just gives you an extra week to prepare and transition and things like that. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. But if it does, I cannot, no one's going to be surprised why. And then, lastly, I know everyone's saying we're going to get this like meaningless win at the end of the season, but isn't that the last game at Highmark? Like, is it not going to be the craziest environment ever in Buffalo on the last week of the season? It'll probably be absolutely nuts. And the players are going to play out of their minds because they do not want to have their last win at their last game of the same be a loss.
It could be backups, though. It could be backups.
Well, we've seen what backups can do to us.
I get it, but that would be very jet-like to win that game when the Bills are resting everyone, including Josh Allen. They have the 1 seed locked up, but they're going to have another game at that stadium 2 weeks later after they come off the bye.
That's true. But the last regular season game.
Yes, they'll have a pregame ceremony.
Great for us.
But if it doesn't mean anything, like, I don't know. I can see them winning that game.
Yeah. So, I think let's see if they can turn this around in any way. I actually like Tanner. So, I mean, when you think about all the new coaches coming out, like Tanner has done a good enough job. Like, don't give up on him yet. I think that he's still learning, but he's got a good start for a rookie play caller. I'd say that's been pretty good.
Look, I think part of it is how bad the defense has been too, right? Like, he gets compared to Wilkes, and it's been awful. I think Tanner's done an okay job so far.
Yeah,
he's not like I can't blame him for Braylon Allen fumbling on the opening drive or Brees fumbling this past week. Like, can't put that on him. Like, they had touchdowns there, and the game maybe is totally different if these things don't happen. He's not the reason why the defense has been historically inept. So they do got to start faster, though, right? They had this great drive on Sunday. You need 7, not 3. 3 versus 7 is a huge difference when you're playing a team like Dallas.
And this O-line is still learning. I mean, they're talented and young. This is still really like their first year altogether, second year altogether.
They're good at run blocking, and they're not awful in pass protection. You got to take into account how long Fields holds the ball. Like, I think if they had a conventional quarterback, I think the pressure rates would be way down.
I know Olu's not having, such a hot start to the season, and Membu's a rookie. So, like, when both tackles are not having a great game, it's a recipe for disaster. But if they can both have a good game, I think that the O-line can help keep things going. And I think there's something there. I just think, like, overreaction, like, in terms of getting rid of any coaches for sure, or even players before the bye, I think is hasty. But I also understand, like, if there's value to get for Brees, it's a business, and we need those picks to help, repair the flawed elements of our roster, and we have a lot of flaws still. So we'll see what happens.
Adam, good call. Appreciate it. All right, Chef Kev, let it rip. Got about a minute.
All right, Jake, I got a lot to talk about, but I know you're in a time crunch, so I'll do my best, man.
Call back this afternoon and I'll put you on. You want to do that?
All right, my man.
I appreciate it. Derek, let it rip. You close this out. Then I gotta do the raffle.
Okie dokie. Just a couple coaching points. I don't know how we go from allowing the second fewest yards in the NFL last year. I don't know. It's got to be something with the scheme or fit. I kind of want Tanner Angstrand as much as I love his play calling. You mentioned something yesterday on the show about we had about 129 rushing attempts for almost 800 rushing yards. I'd like to see Fields. I'm okay with him throwing an interception. He hasn't done it all year. I'd just like to see the offense push the ball downfield a little bit more. And if you're 0-5, let's get some rookies out there. Let's see some Malachi Moore. Let's see some outside of about 3 or 4 plays from Sunday. Brandon Stevens kind of looked like complete cheeks. I'm trying to rapid fire here. I don't want to take too much of your time. But yeah, I don't know. It's either got to be scheme or fit. Second in the NFL last year, most total yards allowed behind the Eagles. It's got to be scheme. If we do fire Wilkes, I prefer it after a bye so we don't have to coach somebody else new in there. But I hope you and he has a good day, and I'll be on the show later, I intend on.
I appreciate it, Derek. Good call. Now, I'll say this. I think it is players and scheme, but I think it's way more scheme because last year the Jets defense also didn't force turnovers. To me, that's a player thing. But a lot of the guys who were better last year now are worse, so I think it's a scheme thing. I don't think these guys have totally bought into Wilkes. I think it's obvious. I mean, the tackling effort speaks for itself with some of the clips we played. And we're going to do the film review later with Blow It. I don't even want to think about what's going through his mind as he's watching back this game. He's already started tweeting out some of the clips. Like, my God. My God. All right, folks. Time for the weekly raffle. Let's go.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
3 items to raffle away this week, folks. Signed Sauce Gardner jersey, signed Wayne Chrebet jersey, and our grand prize, a signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet. Hit the music. Here we go. The Wheel of Champions is on the screen. As always, you can only win 1 prize per raffle. So if you win and you want to claim your prize, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your name and address so we know where to send your prize to. Good luck to everybody. We'll start with the granddaddy of them all, the Broadway Joe Namath autographed helmet. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner is Shake and Bake. Are you kidding me? He's a Bucks fan. Shake and Bake, asmanjake@gmail.com. Maybe we could work something out. Maybe we'll get you a signed Baker Mayfield helmet or something in the same price point of what I paid for the Namath helmet. We'll make good on your raffle win. How about that? Shake and Bake. He sent in this super chat. He said, love your show, Jake. I wish Buck fans had content as entertaining as yours. Wish the best for the Jets. Garrett Wilson's the next Mike Evans. So a true football fan we can respect around these parts. Congrats, Shake and Bake. Email me and I'll work out something with you for a Tampa Bay Bucks related prize. Unless maybe you want a Todd Bowles signed Jet helmet. Do those exist? All right. Winner number 2 now, shall we? Let's give away a signed Wayne Chrebet football. The winner of that prize is Frank P. Congrats, Frank. Well deserved. Frank is a longtime supporter of the program and diehard Jet fan. Frank, I have your information, but I'll shoot you an email. We'll confirm the address and get that sent out to you this week. All right. We got one prize left, folks. It is a signed jersey by Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner. And the winner of that signed jersey item is Jet Life. Jet Life. You're the winner. Congratulations. Please, please, please email me asmanjake@gmail.com and we will get you your signed Sauce item. Again, our three winners. Winner number 1, the great Shake and Bake. Winner number 2, Frank P. And your final winner, Jet Life. Those are the three winners. Jet Life's in the chat. Hell yeah. Frank is in the chat as well. Frank goes, what was the prize? I missed it. Signed Crevette football, Frank. You did it. This afternoon, I will reveal what the top prizes are for this upcoming week's weekly raffle. Until then, though, hit the Jet chant. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the show today. I got to run. We'll be back with Joe Blewett for the film review later today. Until then, I leave you guys with some news that needs to be shared. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it yesterday, one of the Jets' most famous fans has officially quit rooting for the Jets. We'll talk more about this in the 4 o'clock hour. Go Jets.
My fellow New York Jets fans, it is about time I come and tell you, consider the fact that the New York Jets continue to give us the same abominable product year in and year out. I'm officially boycotting this fucking franchise. I have chosen to adopt the Indianapolis Colts as my team this year because they're playing very good football. They're listening to their coach. They're not making stupid decisions. There are certain fans of mine that are calling me a traitor, but guess what? I don't care. I'm a grown-ass man. For anyone, including my friend Jake Asman, tough titties. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you gotta make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.